All right, happy Halloween to you. Today is our last day of October, and it's ending definitely on a chilly note, isn't it? I mean, if you've been outside, it feels almost wintry, especially given the overcast sky that we have across the area. So thanks for joining us for our daily live webcast here on all of our digital streaming devices. I'd like to give a minute or so for everybody to join. Some people are joining us, over the next minute or so. But what I want you to know is that this is going to be going away. We're going to gradually clear out by the end of the day today, most likely in most locations. And even if it doesn't completely clear out, it does look like the rain that we had earlier this morning should be exiting the area. So here we go. Getting into it right now, the latest temperature is 50 degrees with a north wind at 14. It is definitely chilly, still windy in some spots too. But here's one bit of, positive news, and that is that we have a lot of positive numbers. When you look at the day-to-day temperature change, we are running just a little bit warmer now than this time yesterday, and also drier than yesterday, and also incidentally less windy than yesterday. Even though it still is breezy, it's not as windy. So we're at 1 to 2 degrees warmer in Houston now than this time yesterday, but Brenham is 5 degrees warmer, Tomball 3 degrees warmer, Katy, you're 4 degrees warmer. So it's feeling just a little bit better. If we can get that sun to break through, which will certainly happen tomorrow and maybe even by late in the day today, that'll help things out a little bit. All right, so today being Halloween, you may be wondering, what's the warmest, what's the coldest, what are some of the records? Well, back in 2004, we had the warmest Halloween with a high temperature of 88. Got all the way down to 29, at least in the morning of 1993 on Halloween. And back in 2015, I don't know if you remember that, but that was a flooding day across the area with more than 5 inches of rain in the bucket at Bush Intercontinental Airport. It's never snowed around here, at least not on record here in the Houston area. And if you recall, last year we were 80 degrees, and then back in 2021 it was 81 degrees. So we have definitely been running warm the last 2 years, and it's going to be a little bit different this year. So we are looking for low 50s for temperatures around trick-or-treat time today. The sun goes down at 6:36, and so it'll start to look, kind of dusk a little bit before then, and should stay, reasonably light until almost 7 o'clock, and then after that it'll start to get a bit darker. A chilly breeze out there and very dry air in place. So today we're looking for highs in the 50s, some low 60s, but really for the most part it's just going to be in the 50s in most locations today, with some gradual clearing and a cold overnight tonight. And that's something that we're going to be talking about here in a moment too, because we're probably going to have some of the coldest temperatures that we've had since last March. It was actually the last day of winter on March 20th. That was the last time we had temperatures that were in the 30s, by the way. Right now, it is particularly windy down on the island, which it's usually windy in Galveston Island almost any day, but it's especially windy down there today. A north wind at 23 miles an hour with a temperature of 53. In Houston right now, there is a healthy breeze. It's just not as bad as it was yesterday. So we have a north wind at about 14. 49 to 50 degree temperature there, and this is interesting, up in College Station, peek through, so the temperature is warming a little bit. So notice it's warmer out there than it is actually in the Houston area, and that'll continue. Wind chill value a little bit. It's not having as big of an effect today as it was yesterday, but it feels like right now 42 for both Huntsville and Conroe, about 45 in Tomball, and about 44 for Sugar Land. As far as the wind gusts, that's been an issue down along the coastline. 38-mile-per-hour recent wind gusts down there for Galveston Island. For Angleton, it's a wind gust about 22, but it's just been really howling wind here over the last 36 hours for Galveston itself. Across the rest of the state, the temperatures are really starting to rebound. So Dallas was down in the middle 30s this morning. Now they're back up to 49, just like we are, but the sun is out there. Over in Amarillo, they were down to the 20s this morning. Still cold, but rebounding to about 39 degrees. And then high temperatures today are going to be in the 50s around the area, most spots. About 63 in Del Rio. Out west in El Paso, about 60, but basically everybody in the same boat here across Texas. Lots of 59-degree forecast highs. And then for tomorrow, I do think we'll get a little bit warmer because we'll have more sunshine. It's going to be very cold in the morning, but we should rebound into the low 60s by tomorrow afternoon. Just a very gradual warm up across the area. This I love to take a look at for the noon show, which of course is coming up in a few minutes. But this time of the day, we can use the visible satellite imagery to really get a look at where the clouds are and where they aren't. The infrared imagery that we have to use earlier in the day shows us mostly high clouds, and it also shows us thunderstorms and really deep clouds with cold cloud tops. But this lets us see just like a bird's eye view. And what it's showing us here, that once you get off here to the north of Conroe, to the north of Hockley and Hempstead, the weather clears out really nicely. The sky clears out nicely, so enjoy that if you're up there. The rest of the area, we're probably going to be overcast here for a while. All right, speaking of overcast, speaking of precipitation, yeah, it was snow coming down here across much of Michigan over the last 24 hours. In fact, Fox Weather earlier this morning, they were reporting there was about a foot of snow there on the upper peninsula of Michigan, and that's obviously not affecting us, but it's a part of this whole system, the area of cold air that came down out of Canada and bringing cold air to Salt Lake City, to Denver, to Omaha, to St. Louis, even Nashville, all these spots feeling pretty chilly just like we are. That snow making its way through Chicago, where it's kind of wet snow right now, and that'll be moving westward, from the west to the east, I should say. It still is hurricane season. I know it doesn't feel like it is, and for us, effectively, for the Texas coastline, we don't get tropical systems this time of the year, but they do hit elsewhere. This is a small tropical storm named Pilar, and that one has actually been bringing some very heavy rain to El Salvador over the last couple of days. That one's going to be moving to the west, away from land. There's another area down here to the south of the island of Hispaniola, and that one has right now, according to the Hurricane Center, about a 70% chance for developing that wave right there. And again, here's a closer look at that tropical storm to the south of El Salvador. Now, why don't we not have to worry about it coming here? Well, because we get these really strong winds blowing in from west to east, and it pushes everything away. So let's talk about what is on the way for tonight. Not just trick-or-treating, but by tomorrow morning. It is somewhat of a big deal. So today we're looking for temperatures to rise here into the 50s. By this evening, so this is when you're headed out for do some trick-or-treating with the kids, about 54, 55, maybe low 50s. And then by the end of trick-or-treat time, if you are going to be out that late by around 9:30, back down into the 40s. So it is going to be brisk out there, but not raining. Now, overnight, temperatures fall into the 30s, and it is very likely that we'll see some middle 30s off to the north. Now, and even to the south, by the way, too. Sometimes you get really cold down there in Wharton County and in Matagorda County. Closer to the city of Houston, closer to about 40, maybe 38, 39, so that's all above freezing. But some spots will get close enough to freezing tonight, and I think especially tomorrow night, that there could even be a little bit of frost. So if you're from the Woodlands northward, or let's say up here in Grimes County, maybe parts of Waller County, Washington County, you could actually wake up to some frost, a little bit of frost on the ground coming up on Wednesday morning and Thursday morning in particular. And then we'll rebound here back into the upper 50s and low 60s as we head into the day tomorrow. So here we go. We'll see the return of sunshine to our northern communities, through the afternoon. Gradually, we should see the clouds sort of thinning out and decreasing across the Houston area. Heading into the Halloween trick-or-treat forecast, we're looking pretty good. Clear and cold overnight tonight with upper 30s likely. Tomorrow looks like a sunny and a cool day. But, you know, feeling, I think, a little bit better than today because there won't be quite as much wind. So today, a north wind still hanging in there at 10 to 20 miles per hour, about the upper 50s or so for maximum temperatures. The remaining rain chance really mostly south of Houston, Matagorda, Brazoria County, a few light rain showers passing by. About 39 tonight in Houston, about 38 tomorrow night, but that does include colder air outside of the city. Here's the great news though, 62 tomorrow and then up into the upper 60s coming up on Thursday, about 75 degrees on Friday. That looks spectacular. Weekend plans, it will be milder but still feeling like fall. Overnight low temperatures near 60 degrees and afternoon highs near 80 degrees. Notice a little bit of a rain chance there coming up on Saturday, not a big deal. And finally, a reminder, this is the fallback weekend when we go from daylight savings time back to Central Standard Time. I want to invite you to join us for Fox 26 News at noon. That'll be coming up in just over 20 minutes, so I hope to see you then.
Our willingness, not our capability, but our willingness to take deterrent action.
Senator Van Hollen. thank you, Madam Chair, Secretary Austin. Thank you for your service, and I agree